Hello, this brief video is to go over some key points about the syllabus. After you watch all 3 videos in this introduction lesson, there's an online assignment to complete. The first item is here we have what my office hours are on campus. However, there will be an online meeting room in our Blackboard page, which I will show you. For emergencies, I have my cell phone number there. And if you call my office line, it automatically converts to an email. And that's so I can get it even when I'm not on campus. This required text you do not have to purchase because I have found it, a free copy for you online. If you do want to purchase it, you can. The online copy that I have for you that is free does not have 100% of the information, but it has probably 95% of it. These are the course objectives that you can go over on your own, but basically what we're going to do is that we're going to go over the history of women in health and how women have been treated in healthcare. We're going to look at the Healthy People 2020 and/or 2030 reports, looking at the social determinants of health and what the leading health indicators are that are related to women's health. And then as groups, you're going to select topics in the field of women's health that you're most interested in working, and you're going to be completing a paper on it that you'll present at the end of the semester. And so a lot of the content is not determined yet because you in the class will be determining the content that we cover during the class. So these are the course policies. The attendance, this is a face-to-face. If this were a face-to-face class, you'd have to attend every class. But in an online setting, your attendance is taken by you turning in your assignments on time. And this tells you I have very strict. If you're just a couple minutes late, it's still late, and you're penalized 20% of the points. And that's how your absence is calculated. In this area right here, it talks about what an excused absence is. If you're absent, and you can't do your work online, you're going to need a medical note stating that you were too ill to participate in an online course. In my entire career, I've only seen that happen once because the person had eye surgery. They couldn't work on the computer. But for the most part, many times you cannot attend school or work, but you can work from home. So in order for your absence to be considered excused, you must have a note that includes these items. These are the items that will be found on an actual medical absence note. There's been an increase in people forging medical notes, and so I'm very specific. This is what has to be on your medical note. You need to share this list to your healthcare provider. It's nothing abnormal. It's what they would normally put on an actual note. This goes over what is legal. This goes over for death. If there's a death in your family and you want to be excused from work, you need to give your documentation to student services, and they will then inform all the teachers. And finally, religious observations are considered excused, and I will only ask you for documentation if I cannot justify or find any information on what you're telling me. But usually I can find it online. So if you're absent or if you need help, because you're not going to be absent from an online class, but if you need help and you have an unexcused absence note, like you were too sick to participate, I'll be more than happy to meet with you one-on-one and go over the lesson. If you're confused and you need to see me about clarification or you want to talk to me about clarification, I expect you to come in with very specific questions. Saying I don't understand this week's work is not going to allow me to help you. You're going to have to say, well, I read this article, but when I got to this part of the lesson, I kind of got confused and I don't know where I'm going. That will help me. And I have this in place because you guys need to learn how important it is that you take control of your learning. And so this helps you really be on top of it. You're taking good notes. You're participating in the lessons. Assignment due dates. Everything is submitted on Blackboard. I don't accept late assignments. If it's 20% for each calendar day, it's late. If you can see, and it tells you right here, if you know that you've mismanaged your time and you need an extra day or two, you need to tell me that 48 hours in advance of the due date. you know in advance if you've messed up and you might not be able to finish it on time. Do not wait until after it's over, because if you wait until after it happens, I won't excuse the lateness unless it's one of those excused reasons above. It's helpful if you save your assignments all like this, because when you go to look for something later, you will find your assignments all connected together, which is very helpful. It doesn't matter to me if you use single or double space. You must use 11 or 12 point font. These are the 3 fonts that are easiest to read. In APA format, there'll be something about APA listed in your announcements with the basic setup of APA, but because you are required to do APA formatting, it's important that you really pay some attention to that. You're expected to participate. You can go over that. The conduct, I use the same conduct information in all my syllabi, so the things that are related to face-to-face, we don't need to go over. The one that I always go over is academic integrity. It's extremely important that you are aware of the academic integrity policy and that you live by that policy. Things like allowing someone else to use your work, copying from someone, misquoting something, those are all examples of academic integrity breaches. And another example would be turning in the same paper for 2 classes without permission. So you need to be very aware of that. The minimal penalty you will get is a 0 on the assignment. Often when students breach the academic integrity policy in my classes, they end up failing the class. And there's a link. I checked the link. It was working. If it's not working, you have to tell me. This is to let you know I usually pick up my email early morning, Monday through Friday before 7 a.m. I might pick it up more than that, but I'm promising you Monday through Friday by 7 a.m. I'll pick up email. The reason you would need my cell phone is if there's an emergency or something urgent that you need, and it's, Friday at 9 a.m., I might not check my email again until Monday morning. So that's why you would use my text message phone number, and you would just say, could you please check your email? Or I have an emergency. Is there time to talk? Okay. Here's the grading. You have 10 online assignments, only 9 count. The lowest one will be dropped. So if you miss one, I'm not going to let you make it up. It'll just count. That 0 will count as the one that's dropped. There's 4 group assignments. Each one's 20 points. There's 4 journals. Each one's 25 points. There's 3 annotated bibliographies. That is to help you write your paper that's due at the end of the semester. You have 1 paper worth 70. Your presentation, which will be an audio-visual presentation posted into Blackboard, is worth 50. Your final journal posting is worth 50, and that comes to a total of 500 points. So this is the scale breakdown. There are no more C- at TU, but this just shows you the breakdown of what it would look like. You can read over all of the assignments and see if you have any specific examples. One of the most important items I want to go over with you is this paper presentation group grade. I know a lot of students do not like to be in groups because they might be in a group with someone who is too anal and takes over the whole project, or you might be in a group with someone who doesn't want to do any work and kind of just disappears. So for this class, I will be giving you a group grade, but if your personal grade in the portion of the paper that you write is more than 10% different than the group grade, you will get your grade and not the group grade. So in this first example, it shows you that this person clearly did not work as hard as everybody else. They will get a 70% because this is the group grade. This person's 5%, this person's 8%, this person's 3%, this person's 17%. This person will get a 70. That's their grade because they didn't contribute enough to the class. In this situation, it's more than likely that your group grade will go up slightly because I will be taking out this person's work to re-average it. Example 2, in this situation, this person has a 98%. That's 17% more. This is 17% less. This is 27% less. This is 15% less. In this situation, if this were your group everyone in the group would get their individual grades because everyone has a grade that is more than 10% away from the group grade. In this example, this person is 3%, 8%, 7%, 5%. In this example, everyone is within 10% of the group grade, so everyone would receive the group grade. This is to encourage you to work as a group. However, I do not want one person doing other people's work. So if one person does not do their work, it is their grade that will be impacted and not the entire group's grade. However, you will do the best if all of you can work together. And I do let you pick, you do have some say in your groups when you do the online assignment 1, you see that. So this explains those examples. If you don't understand it, we might need to talk about it, but I think you're going to understand it when you see it. Here is the detailed scoring rubric for your paper. As you're choosing your paper to write, realize that you should not just pick a topic because you've written papers on it before and you're looking for an easy way to do this, because this paper is not like other papers you've written. You're going to have to do an introduction of the health issue. There might be a history. There might be relevant physical, social, emotional, psychological, political aspects that need to be discussed. Then part 2 will be the environment, the education, the economics, and the neighborhood, and how those items affect your issue. Part 3 is social context, which is where they live in society, social racism, prejudice, so community support. And then this is access to care. So your first part is an overview, and then you're going to cover 3 sections that are related to social determinants of health. Finally, this personal reflection piece, everyone will write their own personal reflection. It tells you what you need to do to answer it. So all of this part is a group project, and I'll go over it in more detail in a little bit later in the class, or I can answer questions as you see fit. In this section, each person will do a part of the paper. You will receive a grade for your part, and then the group receives a grade, and that's how I determine whether or not you are off the mark and you need to have a different grade. This requires you to reflect personally on the project that you worked on all semester. And so one person will submit this part of the paper. Everyone in your group will submit this part of the paper. And there is a scoring rubric in Blackboard. This is not your exact syllabus yet, because there's still things like this that I have not moved from here. But here is the course outline of what we're doing and when. It tells you the dates, it tells you what you should be doing, and it tells you when items are due. This is also replicated in Blackboard, which I'll show you in another video. If you have any questions as you're looking over the syllabus or you see something that's not clear, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to work with you or change anything that needs to be changed.